Hey folks, welcome to Heritage Homestead Creations. I'm Aaron, that's T, and this is your biannual reminder to do your battery maintenance if you live off-grid on a battery system. And I tried, what, 2, 3, 4 times to get to do one of these shorts. I'll post one of them just for the fun of it, but you can't get that much information in that short a period of time. So let's look at a full maintenance and what we got to do. So every 6 months we do this, generally once in the spring and then once in the fall. And we like to do it when it's cooler, easier to work on, and cloudy, because if it's cloudy, and it was
kind of cloudy.
It was a lot cloudier earlier, and I think we got more rain coming. Yeah. But we were running the generator to run our appliances, so I figured, well, it's a good time to do that. So let's talk about what you're going to do every 6 months. You want to do these battery maintenances on your batteries so that you get the most life out of your batteries that you can, because hey, they're a pricey part of your system and you want to take care of them. They're also the weakest link in your system, so you want to make sure that you get the longest life. So the first thing we do is we disassemble everything, and we bring them all out here on the porch where we can clean them up. Now, I've already gone ahead and done it, but these terminals on some of these batteries had a lot of corrosion on them from the acid having bubbled out through the ventilator opening on these. Now, what happens is when you pump electricity into them from solar or whatever source of power, when you put electricity into your batteries to charge them, you get a chemical reaction which will break down the water molecules into HHO gas. Okay, and so over time there's a little bit of bubbling that occurs from, whenever you charge on a daily basis. You get just a little bit. Now, it takes a long time to do this, but eventually what happens is that water level goes down. Now, for this thing to operate properly, you need those plates that are in there completely submerged in the sulfuric acid that's inside these lead acid batteries. So what we did, and I ended up adding just a little bit to these. It didn't take much, but you want to, let's take a look at it real quick. If you turn that camera over in there, so you can see, there you go, right there. There is a little plastic ring wall on the inside right here. You want that water, now the wind's going to kick up, you want that water to stay just below that, not too much up onto that little cylinder wall that's on the inside there. You're going to add distilled water. It has to be pure, clean water without any contaminants in it, because you don't want any unwanted chemical reactions going on inside your batteries. That could get weird if you put some spring water in it or anything else for that matter. So you want it clean. So what we did was we made sure that we took all of our battery terminals and we cleaned these down really, really well. And there's a few of these that were starting to get corrosion, because you can see these are nickel-plated copper lugs, and some of the corrosion started to eat the nickel plating off of it, so you see a copper exposed. But in order for this thing to operate properly, you need a good contact in there, and that's there's two main reasons for doing the surfacing: making sure you've got plenty of water in there, and two, to clean all your terminals for good contacts. So we've done that. We've gone through and we've cleaned all our terminals. We've checked all our battery levels, and we've done pretty good. So it's just a matter of the oomph of getting them in and out and putting them back together. It takes a little while to do that, and it's no fun, but every 6 months you want to do this. For us, spring and fall, when it's cool enough out, and of course we have to have our photo bomber. Say hi.
Hi, Shadow.
Did you like that mouse? Somebody just caught a mouse. Very pleased with themselves, and I'm happy for it too. So let's talk about one last thing on this servicing. You're also going to check your voltages. These batteries didn't get fully charged before we pulled them out here this morning because it was so cloudy. But you want to make sure that you're running a good full charge around 6.6 to 6.7 volts per battery. Really good batteries, maybe 6.8, 6.9. When you start getting down towards 6.3, 6.2, you know either you're discharged or there's an issue with your acid. Anybody who has a set of off-grid batteries really needs a hydrometer so that you could check your acid levels. Now let me also explain this. This is a little dirty secret that battery manufacturers don't want you to know because they want you to buy new ones on a regular basis. These batteries, when they off-gas HHO gas, will off-gas sulfur with it because it is in solution. The sulfur dioxide is in solution in the water. And what happens is if you overcharge them, or when the batteries are brand new, kind of getting broke in, I say that tongue-in-cheek because you don't break your batteries in. When they're new and they're settling into their charge, they will off-gas sulfur. And a lot of people are concerned about that, well, for several reasons. One, it stinks. It smells like rotten eggs. And two, you know, you don't want those kinds of gases in large concentration, especially the HHO, because HHO gas is highly explosive. So a lot of people will put these into a box and then put a fan on them, and that fan has to run, and we don't do that. We keep ours in open air in up under a desk inside. You guys have seen that before. But the thing is, it will off-gas some sulfur from time to time, and you will smell that when you're in equalization mode and you're running a higher voltage. That's a possibility. Well, if that's the case and you don't want to smell it, open a window or something. But it doesn't happen very often. So it's not an issue for us. It is an indicator. T and I are very, very sensitive to our surroundings. We're always making observations of power or sun or panels or this or that. And so if we do smell it, that's something for us to know, hey, there's something that we need to pay attention to and go see why it's doing that. So we like to know, because our sniffer is an indicator for things that we might want to be aware of. Now, here's the thing. Because of that, when you're adding water to these, you're not replenishing that sulfuric acid. And for those of you who've been off grid for 4 or 5 or maybe 6 years, and you're starting to notice that the voltages are not staying up there, here's that dirty little secret that the battery companies don't want you to know. You can go to your auto parts store and get a box that has a bag of battery acid in it. And then the next time you service it, instead of servicing it with just plain distilled water, couldn't find that word distilled for some reason, right off my tongue. For distilled water, you add the battery acid, and what that's going to do is going to bring the sulfuric acid back up to a good operating level, and you'll check that with your hydrometer a little bit at a time to get it back up into the green. You will add extra years of life to your batteries by making sure that you also stay at a high enough acid. Most of the time they will not tell you that you can do that, but you can revive batteries that have been used. Now, in the process of using your batteries and discharging them and recharging them, well, the plates break down on a microscopic level and then get built back up, and they break down and get built back up, and after time there's a distortion in these plates, and I see them. You look down in here and you can see them warp around. Let's see if you can see. Let me see if I can get this camera. It's not going to be easy to see. I can kind of see them. These batteries are fairly new. They're only two years old. And you can look in there and you can see the plates are still of a very concentric form. They look like they're still in their original shape. The batteries that we replaced these with, by the time we had them, they were over 7 years old, and you could look in there and the plates were bent and wobbly looking and disformed and in contact with each other, which means They're not having current go through the solution. It's going just through the plate. So the voltage had started to really drop and not be able to be reestablished by adding any acid or anything like that. So anyway, twice a year is your battery maintenance. You pick the time. For us, spring and summer, when everything's nice and comfortable inside and outside, because we're going in and out the door a lot, it's a good opportunity on a cloudy day to come out here and do this, because we're running on generator anyway. And there you go, my friends. Not quite a short, but it's that time, and these are the things you want to make sure you stay on top of so that your investment in these precious metals lasts you a good long time.